How's it going, everybody? Welcome back. So as you can tell, right away we're jumping into a sped up version of a picture. I'll talk about more of it as we go, but I want to make sure I'm hitting a lot of the process. So I'm doing a commission here, and like I do with everything, I always like to start with thumbnail sketches. And in Manga Studio here, it's very quick. And what I'm doing is just doing like a blue pen. You can use, I just like a color for this stage. You can use whatever, and then I'll use a faded out lighter version underneath just to give it a silhouette, so I can sort of try to figure out what's a powerful shape or what's a good compositional piece. In this one, I actually like the one on the far left there where the guy's looking up, but we're going to end up going with the one in the middle. And like I say, this is a commission, so I want to show the character's face pretty prominently. And it's a bust shot commission, and this was done for, this is the last one actually, for the Kickstarter that we had for the standard, and that went wonderfully, as you guys all know. I've tried to share a little bit of information with that as we've gone, but this is the last one here, and this is the workflow that I've been doing lately for commissions and other things on my own, of just doing digital roughs, digital thumbnails, and then digital tight lines, print it out on Bristol, and then grab the actual inking tools, the real life inking tools as I call them, and ink it up. So what I'm going to do too is I'm going to try and record the actual real life inking of this, and if it works, then we'll see it on the channel soon. If not, you'll just have to take my word for it. Follow me online, wherever you guys follow me. I'll be posting pictures of that stuff as we go. So what I did there is I just took the thumbnail that I had and I blew it up. This is 8.5 by 11, just regular printer paper. I like to do this for my smaller commissions. I have small Bristol paper, that's regular paper, printer paper size, and just working it that way. I like to work at 400 DPI. If it was up to me, like I've told you guys, I would work in 600. Hell, I'd even do 1200 just because you can. But unfortunately, my computer just, it can't handle a lot of the power. You know, the power it takes to do this digital work. It just can't do it. So 300, I figures, you know, yeah, if we can do 400, I get away with it. I don't notice a bog down on my computer or my machine, so that's what I stick with. So we blow it up, and then, as you can see on the right, I have a folder structure. By all means, please pause the video, and you guys can see as we go as they populate. But I just like to keep them in chunks of whatever phase I'm working on. Usually the phase goes thumbnails, and then this would be roughs. And then from here, if you're doing pencil work, it would go into like tight pencils, and then I'd be done. Or I would skip that stage and go into line art. And by line art, I'm talking about inking. And that's as far as we're going to go with this one. And I'm actually doing a little bit of a different method with the inking on this, and this is actually going to be an experiment to see how it works. This character is Alex Thomas from the Standard. He actually is the sidekick of the Standard, and then the Standard ends up retiring because he gets old, and his sidekick, Alex here, who is named Fabulad, growing up with the Standard, he ends up taking over and becoming the Standard, and his outfit's a little bit more streamlined, a little bit more 90s, and then, you know, and it was one thing that kind of bummed me out in that series. He isn't the main character at all. He's the driving force behind the decisions that Gilbert Graham, the original Standard, and the reason why he comes out of retirement. He's the main reason and the main character of the story. But I always felt like we never really got enough ways to play with this character, and it was a pretty big bum out for me. You know, drawing superhero books, I like to draw the superheroes, right? And I feel like if we're ever to do something in the future regarding bringing back the Standard, or just maybe telling some more stories, I think it'd be really cool to tell Alex's story while he was a superhero, and I think that'd be really cool. So I'll call him a client in this case, but the person who kickstarted and wanted the commission part, he just said, you know, just do whatever you like, whatever character you like from the Standard. So I figured, you know what, it's easy to do the main character. I've drawn him to death. There's villains I always want to draw. I love a lot of the villains in the book, but never really had a chance to draw this guy. So I figured, let's do it on here. Now, you quickly saw me before I started doing all this. On the right there, sorry if you guys can hear my creaky chair. On the right, if you look at my subtool, you can see like my G pen, mapping pen, all that kind of stuff like that. And at the bottom, what it is those are markers that I've scanned in on a 600 DPI, or 400, sorry, because I'm working at 400 DPI image in Manga Studio, and I just started fiddling with settings so that those would mimic my real tools that I work with. That way there's if I ever need to jump between digital or analog, real life inks, if you call them that, I'm able to just jump back and forth without hopefully a huge style or quality increase or decrease. I do find working digital, the art tends to look better because there's more ways that I can manipulate things. It's pretty final when you're working in real life stuff. But I like to call it the Freddie method, and who I talk about when I say that is Freddie E. Williams II, the author of the DC Comics Guide to Digitally Drawing Comics. I've been heavily using his method and workflow. I recommend you guys buy that book, and I'll continually say it until this channel is ever done. But if it wasn't for that book, a lot of what I'm doing right now, I'm not sure how I would have gotten here, and just making it very clear on how to work like that. But I wanted to try something else. In that method, you use like a pretty standard weightless line, like just a dead line, and you start doing all the line art that I'm doing here. And it can speed things up. It can make things clearer down the road if you want to make adjustments and stuff. But I wanted to just try an experiment here of, figuring out where my light source is before I even jump into inking, and making my line art with some line weight to it, because it might save some time when I'm actually inking. I don't have to go over the lines and things like that. It also lets me play around a little bit more organic, and it actually I find it can give me some speed if I'm doing a lot of the line weight right off the crack. But the filling in of the blacks and the actual rendering and stuff, that's more appropriate. I feel way more comfortable, and hopefully this experiment works out once I print this guy out. But as you can see right here, I'm pretty much done here, and I'm just going to add that flat contour line around everything, so it's still a unified piece. I don't do it on the hair because it's a little more organic, and once I get to that, I'm going to want a little bit more of a feathered line and stuff like that. So that was pretty much the process, and like I say, follow me online, you guys, on all the social networks and stuff, and you guys can see screenshots as I slap those inks on in case the video doesn't come out. And until next time, you guys, keep reading comics, keep making comics, and I'll talk to you then. Bye.